Welcome. It's like a radio guy. Welcome to Acute Media Live. That's official. Welcome. Rob's here. Rob's visible tonight. This is Invisible Rob. If you're wondering who Invisible Rob is, that's him visibly. That's what I usually call him, Invisible Rob, on the show.
Oh.
Hi, Rob.
Hello.
Guides is here tonight. Well, not here, but they're there.
We're here.
So say hi to Guides.
Very cool. Very cool.
Welcome, guys. It's nice to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
That was that incredible array of array of instruments? Is that how you would say it? That incredible group, I guess, that we just listened to, Space Weather from Pittsburgh. And I just saw them last weekend. Was that last weekend I went up there? I think it was with Tracy. Tracy went up there with me. They played at the Bridge and went up and saw them. And they're incredible. Like, just all the stuff going on with what do they call that? Like progressive style or something, like progressive rock or something. There's just tempo changes and just
it keeps evolving,
nuts.
Flowing, doesn't really repeat too much.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how. I mean, how do you practice that style? I don't know. I don't know
Practice.
how to do it. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess you.
You got to write it
practice
first. You got to write it first, and then the practice comes.
Well, tell me a little bit about Guides. I know you sent me your bio, but just for the folks that don't know, just tell them about you a little bit.
Sure. We are a hard rock / nu metal band from Pittsburgh. We've really only been active for about 6 months, like out playing, and we dropped our EP. But the story is a lot longer than that. The project has kind of existed in different forms for about 8 years. So there's a lot of nothing and a lot of things that did happen in between. But, really the story is for the last 6 months, we've been putting songs out and playing shows and, becoming more active within the scene and building our audience and, just going from there. So.
What was the big driving factor to since there was you've been around for so long, but you just recently just started let's get out and do this. What was the kind of the conversation there?
Yeah, sure. So all the songs that we just put out, the EP that we released in September, were written about 10 years ago. And that was like the first incarnation of the band started in 2014. And we wrote like an EP's worth of material. We played a handful of shows. While we were tracking demos for that, it kind of just fell apart. So, long story short, a few years later, I, kind of had an interest in reforming the band with people that were still around. The bass player was interested, and so we kind of built around the material that we had and the two of us, and started piecing a lineup together. And we went through a process of kind of getting off the ground, and then the pandemic hit, right? So I know everyone has that story, right? Like, we were going to do this, and then of course the pandemic. So when we lost kind of 2 years there, but we made that productive. We did a lot of writing in that time when we couldn't go out and play. So the driving force was really like a year ago, me deciding that we were either going to put the songs out and like actually do the thing or not. And so, it was kind of I don't know. I don't want to say it was like a final shot, but it was kind of like, all right, we're going to take it seriously now. And, we really haven't looked back from there. So.
Well, it's great. The EP is really good. And it's awesome that you wrote those several years ago, and they work still to this, they work even today. I mean, who knew what the music was going to sound like back, looking ahead back then, looking ahead 10 years, saying, what's things going to sound like? It might not be this same style, might not be in or whatever, but it fits.
I honestly, that it didn't do this on purpose, but like, it couldn't be a better time for us to exist and for us to like be coming out and putting this material out, because like new metal is trendy again.
Yeah.
There is a market for it, and it's, there's a want for it. So like we couldn't have picked a better time to do it, I guess is the way to say
Yeah.
it.
I think a lot of there's a lot of genres that were I hate to bring it up now, but Fraud Durst, style music is coming back.
Yeah.
The reason I say this is because Fraud Durst is here with us. He's part of your band,
Yeah.
I guess. How did this come up with the whole the Durst era? I mean, or whatever. How did this come about? Have you always done something? Your microphone's on mute, by the way.
So
we can't. There it is. There you are.
So essentially, it started last year around Halloween. I needed a Halloween costume, and I said, what's one that and then it dawned on me. I was like, I should go as Fred Durst because it was easy. I had a beard. I could shave it into the goatee. I went to H&M. I got the jacket, and at that time, I'm still involved in I shoot and produce a TV show for Pittsburgh Community Television, PCTV. So the whole premise of that show is like it's improvised comedy. So I'll come in with an idea, and they have 3 cameras set up in their studio, and it's just, record what you want, but it's all in front of a green screen. So when I went as Fred Durst for Halloween, I had a studio date booked the following week, and I said, I should do a sketch where I'm Fred Durst and I'm doing a bunch of stuff. So I did, my normal bit of stepping on. There's a character that steps on food. Well, I had Fred Durst step on curly fries, and a bunch of just other nonsense. And then I said, why don't I do the live action Fred Durst calling people? So I recorded just a bunch of these like voicemails that Fred, and it all goes back to the voicemail that Fred Durst left on Stephen Richards, the singer of Taproot's phone back in the early 2000s when they were supposedly working together, but they ended up going with somebody else. So that's where it all started. The whole joke.
You guys know that story?
Yeah, that's.
I don't know it entirely.
Yeah. Fred was supposed to get him in the on the label,
Okay.
and they ended up going with another one.
Oh, I see.
So
Fred Durst leaves a voicemail on the Taproot singer's mom's answering machine. Just, fuck you, you fucked up. Like, don't come to my shows. Like, your career's over. Like, yeah.
So that's basically where it all started. Was just creating this sketch about Fred Durst calling people and leaving angry voicemails, and it's just it spiraled out of control.
Has Mr. Durst gotten wind of your stuff, of your material?
Well, like when I've posted on, like now he doesn't let anybody tag him, or maybe just me. I don't know. Jonathan can't tag him, but you can't tag Limp Bizkit. You can't tag.
Guys is blackballed. We got erased.
Yeah, you can't tag Fred Durst. So I mean, It's like I think that he knows about it because he's responded to my messages when he was tagged, and he would.
He knows about it for sure. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Well, here's the other thing. Prior to, shortly thereafter, I went as Fred Durst. I uploaded a video that went viral. Basically, that's what like took off. Why I said I need to keep doing this. So there's a video. The first video I ever did at PCTV was I would do these little sketches where I would have an item. Well, this one was Fred Durst's New York Yankees hat. And I was I put myself at Lids at the mall, and I said, I'm going to have to be in this hat store. And then every time I would touch it, it would make a Fred Durst noise. Like it would go, yeah. And it would go, Mrs. Aguilera. So all this goofy stuff, when I uploaded it on Instagram, it just started crazy view, organically.
Sure.
I didn't have to. So that was the whole, all right, people were starting to see this, and I think it evened off at 500,000 views, but people from all over the world now are just tuning in to see this Fred Durst, related content. So that's what I mean. It's I felt now I'm stuck, doing the
they might invite you on Saturday Night Live pretty soon to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing is I think that it kind of the whole Taproot show was where it kind of took to a whole new heights because I never did this in public before. It would always just be on green screen at the studio and in a controlled environment. Well, they were the ones that like called me. I got a call from Steven Richards on my cell phone one night. It was like a couple days before the show. He's like, "Hey man, this is Steven Richards," and he's like, "I just want to tell you that I love your stuff." And I'm like, "This is the singer of Taproot, the guy that I listened to when I was, just starting out on guitar, telling me that he loves my stuff and looks forward to seeing my material." And he's like, "We want you guys to come out on stage with us and sing the Elias from Nonpoint part in their new song, Favorite Song." And then he said and then my other friend who's in this band called Heartstick, he was on the live stream that night and he said, "Let's bring him on." And then that's when they said, "Wow, I didn't know this guy was a real guy. I thought he was just like, some joker or whatever." And my friend Alfonso said, "This is the real guy." So Steven Richards said on that podcast that he would cover Stuck by Limp Bizkit if we learned it. So then we basically held him to that. And then that's where it happened, where he came up on stage with us and he did the song. And then later we went out on stage with him and did it. So it was one of those instances where, from just doing something out of the blue as a joke turned into something that was like, it was more than what you thought it was. Yeah, it evolved, from a live action character to,
I didn't even know exactly. Before we went live, I played Stuck just to be kind of funny. And I had no idea there was a Stuck connection, or that was even the song. I was just playing it.
Yeah, we play it. We play it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It all resided from that Steven Richards requesting that particular song.
We covered Limp Bizkit with the Taproot singer, so that was like the
badass. So that's I was going to ask you if there was a Taproot connection, because I saw some of that in your on your Instagram stuff. I didn't know if you knew him, like knew him, or anything.
No, we Oh, Darren, you can tell this part. And we played with them a couple times throughout the years, but what's happened in the last few months was a completely different
Right. And I think it works in a way that they have a manager that supposedly he has a connection with Limp Bizkit back in his old he
was in the Counterfeit.
Yeah, he was in the Counterfeit video, so he has a connection there. So I think that it's, this whole Fred Durst thing is this nostalgic, take me back to the year 2000s and how ridiculous this guy's persona was at that time. Now he's kind of washed up, this older guy. Now he's dressing up like a cowboy and he's a parody of himself pretty much.
Oh, no.
What?
Boots, cowboy hat, the whole time.
What's wrong with
so, I mean, it's I think that's what Limp Bizkit finally figured out, is they are a parody of themselves, and that's what people like about it. So
but I think that was the thing. They always were a joke, and they knew that.
Yeah.
But people people in the heavy music community took it seriously. This is supposed to be heavy. It's supposed to be this, but it's no. It's it's Limp Bizkit. If you don't take it seriously, that's when it's at its best.
Yeah, it's almost like what's that band, Steel Panther? I think they've talked about how they're a parody of that hair metal era. Limp Bizkit was
just
the parody.
All of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean the original song that they did, their cover of Faith was basically launched their success was a parody of a song. And I remember him doing an interview where he said they did that because they wanted to take something that was real nice and that kind of sound and turn into something that was heavy and disgusting, and people would be oh man, that makes me want to blow up that jukebox that George Michael was dancing in front of. So that's essentially what they
I've been kind of fighting Rob on this idea, but Rob's always we need to do a cover of a song, just do a cover of something that we like and learn it and try to do it well enough to perform when we go out to perform. But I've been fighting him on that. But I think that's because you see that more and more. You see a band that will go and play. They'll play their stuff, but they'll just throw in something that everybody knows that will grab their attention. So like if if people have been just kind of watching them kind of bebop, all of a sudden they're playing like Deftones or something that they know, and they just go crazy. Like there's Fall of Babylon's some younger guys in Pittsburgh, and they just play just heavy metal, just really heavy stuff. Sometimes at their concert, they'll just break out in Slipknot, and it's awesome, and people just go crazy. They do the Wall of Death. I mean, just people go nuts over that stuff.
You sandwich,
Sandwich.
covers in,
Ridiculous.
you sandwich your covers in with your shit. Nobody wants to come and hear your shit for the most part.
Well, yeah. but you
I
want
just think
to.
it's important. I think people do I think it's just important to it's something that people will remember, right? Like they don't know your songs, so they're not gonna the first listen, they're not gonna remember your originals.
Right.
Like they're not gonna be familiar. So you play something like our first show, we covered Taproot, and that's obscure, right? Not everyone knows that, but there were enough people in that audience that that was what they remembered, and then they came to see us play with Taproot, and then they were so it was it can be something. It doesn't have to be like a hit. You can play something that you like, but if it's recognizable enough, it's what people will take away from the set, and if they come see you again, then they'll start learning your material.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It does.
So the song "Stuck" on Limp Bizkit's first record was it was never a single. It wasn't their hit, or was it a music
Well, it's
video?
too bad. I
but
think for one
but
thing, it's too bad for radio.
well, right. They could never. Yeah, it was never going to be a radio single. So I think underground. The fans that listened to that album were like, man, this is like
that's
this
probably
is one
the
of those-
greatest Limp Bizkit album. That album there.
Yeah.
It was before Fred Durst was Fred Durst, right?
Yeah. Right.
The
Yeah,
real
and-
Fred Durst, the chocolate starfish butthole.
Yeah.
The only thing good about that band was
What Jonathan and I said is that
West.
basically what happened was Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit went Disney. How Disney kind of water. They didn't get signed by Disney, but it's when something becomes a Disney.
They should have. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, they decided to go pop. They were writing about all this deep stuff psycho female blowing up, and his rhyme schemes were he was more lyrical, more in the sense of he was trying to
That's
be
not easy. That's not easy to do.
I can't rhyme at all.
He was trying to
On
be
purpose,
Everlast.
yeah.
I mean that's the thing. DJ Lethal came from the House of Pain, so he was trying to be like that white rapper, like Everlast, and be a lyrical guy. But soon he figured out write nonsense.
Eminem blew them the crap out of the water.
Well, right, write
their
stuff
music
that write stuff that people can just feel good about, and that's basically where they caught on. Whereas write music that appeals to teenagers, and
put grunge in it. Just
right. Yeah, that's really they figured out their formula.
Like a clown and
Yeah, right. Yeah, they and their stage shows were also they had I remember going to see them when I was 16 years old. That was their Limptropolis tour, but they had it was like a city or something. I think they were supposed to be on a rooftop, but Family Values, they did Mars Attacks, they did a giant toilet. I mean, they always had some elaborate
fireworks.
visuals. Yeah, they had some kind of visual that you would go to see them, and I guess now it's just a stripped down show. Jonathan saw them.
You know what's awesome about Limp Bizkit and I mean, I'm a fan, but the where you really have to give them mad respect is you go see them, it is raw as fuck. They're not using tracks. They're not, I don't think they're playing to a click. It is just them and their instruments, and it sounds a lot heavier because of that, and they're just and it's so tight. That's how they're great musicians, and you see them live.
Yeah.
Well, Wes is a beast, man. He is an absolute beast.
Well, doesn't he play in? Is there another band he plays in? West Borland.
He went solo for a while.
How was that?
He did. We actually, my other band, we opened for Blacklight Burns when they played at the Hard Rock Cafe. I forget what year that it had to have been 2007 or whatever. But I remember I got to meet Wes Borland. He was just at the Hard Rock Cafe.
He's not a doucher like Fred, is he?
No. I think he's a normal guy. And I remember I was starstruck. I went up to him. He was eating a sandwich.
Sure, yeah, I would have been.
He was eating a turkey club at the bar, and I was like, oh my God, West Portland. Like, and he's just like, hey man, like, just
With his hair all
whatever.
crazy.
Whoa.
Was his hair all like,
Not at that point. It's like later on when he got into show mode, he came out and he was like more his bizarre character. So like he would like spit into the air and then catch his spit in his mouth, and it was just, you know what I mean, like just your typical like grimy. And he would have this weird makeup, real goth, style. But yeah, he tried to do a side project, and sooner or later they probably were like, hey, we got to pay bills, we got to look towards our retirement, so we should just start.
Do you guys have any? Do you guys have any special things that you do on stage other than the music part? Is there anything like that you like? Does anybody do backflips or anything?
Well, there's like moments where we like have like synchronized jumps that have been captured on camera at all of our shows. And like I have some moves that for certain parts, like certain kicks and certain times like
moves.
you kind of like get into a performing routine like with these things, and then like it's just kind of part of how you practice and how you do it. So I don't know, they just all kind of become things.
I've always thought about what do bands do right before they go on to, like, it's their turn, they've been waiting around, it's their turn or their opening or whatever. Right before you go out on the stage, I always wonder what bands do. And, I'm sure some bands have like rituals, certain things that they do for every show. Do you guys have anything as a band? Is there something you do right before you go to perform right before you go onto the stage? Is there anything you guys do?
Because first of all, the answer to that question depends on what position you're in. Like, where are you playing in the order? Because the amount of time you have in between with the changeover, unless you're headlining, you're running around. So you're just like hoping to get on stage and not lose any time. The only thing we do consistently is I'll go around and give everyone a fist bump right before, like while our intro is playing, just to kind of get everyone locked in, and that's kind of it.
I mean, last show,
does it work? Does it work, Darren?
I think it does. I think it hypes us up. I think that's a good reassurance that everything's good. And but last show, for example, it was a Halloween show, so everyone dressed up as a
were you Fred
character.
Durst?
I was Fred Durst. Yes, that was the character. And Jonathan was the Joker. But backstage, I bought recently a this Bluetooth boombox, and it came with a microphone. JBL makes it. It's called the Party Box. So backstage, like while the headlining band Source was like setting up, I was in the back room and I just was doing karaoke, but it was all Limp Bizkit karaoke. So you could say, how did I get ready for the show? I was singing, and I was like, man, after I sang all those songs, I was like, man, this is a lot of breath here. I didn't realize how much Limp Bizkit songs take it out of you. So that was like kind of like my warm up. But even though I don't sing, that was a good way to just kind of.
You should start, or at least start rhyming, like write your own rhymes. I'm sure they'd be way better than Twitter.
Yeah, that actually, there's a guy that is playing the show, our next show in January 5th. He told me, he said you should just, as a joke, write a beat and write a song and just write a joke song using the Fred Durst voice. And
I agree 100% with that idea.
And see how people react to it.
There you go.
I don't need to say I'm Fred Durst.
You're getting like market feedback here. You're getting like
I will promote it on here also leading up to the show, and I will come up into the show to watch it, and I will film it. I will watch the synchronized jumps.
I've got to see this.
Yeah, you can come with me. Yeah. Well, let's take a listen to Intimidation Game. So the folks that haven't heard you, that don't know you, can listen to the badassery of this. Is this meant to intimidate us? I know that was a horrible segue, but
I mean, it's meant to do whatever you want it to do to you. Take it in.
Ooh. Right?
Yep. Nope.
Take it in.
All right, here is Guides with Intimidation Game.
Hold your breath.
It gives me a um, like a stained feel towards the end. You know, where it's the light snare taps and probably cymbals or whatever he's doing, whatever the drummer's doing there. But you know that light snare tap gives me some stained, older stained like Aaron Lewisy kind of feel. Is that kind of what you were going for? I mean, it's very similar to something that they would do, which is awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I'm a huge Stain fan. I always have been. And I actually was. I was like thinking back to 2014. I was listening to a lot of Stained at that time for whatever reason when we were working on this material. So I don't know if that was a conscious thing, but that's definitely a huge influence.
Yeah, it's very good. That's very good. I like it for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't know where. I think Rob went to the bathroom. Rob's like a bathroom person. He just comes here. He's got a key to my house, so I think he just comes and uses the bathroom when I'm not here, and then just leaves. It's weird. He's a strange fellow. Anyway,
that's right.
We were talking before we went live about the wiener segment that I always. I don't think it's a famous thing. I've just been doing it for quite a while. You know, I've done it with every guest for like a year, maybe two almost. But I've had several bands on from Pittsburgh. You know, Pittsburgh's like my pipeline. You know, that's you guys are my go-to. I'm up there all the time anyway. So, but I kind of wanted to change it. But see, I do have the intro of my dad singing. I'm gonna have to do like I'm gonna have to scrap that and have him sing something else or about food. I guess I don't know. I have to figure something.
A pierogi song.
Yeah, and we were talking about that, and I don't know why I was thinking that was a Philly thing, but pierogies are a Pittsburgh thing, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's like Pittsburgh.
Are there any pierogi restaurants that are just solely pierogies, like you know, like I guess like a hot dog stand, like a pierogi stand?
It's more of like some some of the best pierogies I've had are at the at PPG Arena, the Pens games.
Oh yeah.
They have like this like stand upstairs, and you walk by, and it smells ridiculous.
Pierogies,
and it's just like you can get like this dish of pierogies with a bunch of crap on it, and sour cream and stuff.
The only pierogies that I've ever had are the ones like the frozen ones from the store, like in the box, and like you know how most things that you get frozen that's in a box usually has some kind of like plastic wrap and then it goes into the box. Not pierogies. Pierogies are just in the box. It's just like they make them and just toss them in there and they freeze. I mean, but
yeah, it's like a brick. You can like just throw it at something.
Yeah. But they come out. You just put them in a frying pan and they're delicious. But are they all just potatoes? It's just potato inside, or does it have to have potatoes in it? Is that like the you know, and then other stuff also, or is it?
And it's like and cheese. It's like that noodle with the potato and the cheese, and then
it's very. You can't eat too many of them. It's very heavy.
Yeah, it's like
there's
like
onions.
It's like a side dish.
Yeah. Well, let's do pierogi toppings then. What do you like on your pierogies when you get a pierogi or pierogies? How many can you eat? That's another good question.
I think I mean, personally, I think you can eat like 4. I don't know. I think that's a lot. But
you're good for like
max.
Yeah.
It depends on how big they are, but I mean, yeah, they're like soaked in oil and butter, so you're like, or butter. Yeah, I mean, maybe they're all covered in butter, but it is like it's heavy. Like, I mean, when you eat those,
that's what that Joey Chestnut needs to do. He needs to come down and do a pierogi contest.
Yeah,
I guarantee you, he could eat 4 of them.
Suck down some hot pierogies.
Yeah. Do they make spicy pierogies? Is it just like I guess you can put anything you want in them or on them?
I think a pierogi is just like kind of a pierogi, and then it's kind of more about like how well it's made and like what your toppings are. So
yeah,
like I don't know, like sauerkrauty kind of stuff. Like that's kind of like that works. I don't know.
And they don't really go with anything because they're just so heavy. Yeah, you just can't. You don't want anything the rest of the evening.
Like you're not gonna put ketchup. You're not gonna like eat ketchup with your pierogies like that.
Really? That's a no.
Like,
no.
Well, for me, that's a no.
What about like
sour cream,
hot sauce?
Yeah, I think you can do hot sauce. Yeah, I think that's safe.
Well, there's those people there's I have a few friends that they eat hot sauce on everything, like pancakes even. No, well, probably not, but the people that put like hot sauce on their scrambled eggs, those kind of people. They have to have hot sauce all the time. It's just like, no, you don't. You don't have to. Have
Yeah, right, yeah.
Like, calm it down.
Like food has flavor. It doesn't have to taste like a chicken.
You don't. Yeah, you don't have to blanket everything with a layer of was it picante? Is that what they call it? Like the salsa stuff that's I don't know what I'm talking about. That
Frank's
Sheets. So Sheets down here, I don't. It's probably everywhere, every Sheets, but it might not be because since it's Sheets is like a up your way thing. But the Sheets down here has really been slacking on their quesadillas because, I mean, the quesadillas themselves are good. Every once in a while, I will get them, and you get a big, enough of it. But there's an option on the menu for salsa, and they used to give you a little cup of salsa. They used to give you one, but now it's that little ketchup packet looking thing of I think it's called picante or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and it doesn't really taste like salt. I don't know what it tastes like. It's a strange thing. I've looked at the ingredients. Of course, it says spices in it. Everything. I hate when they do that. They list the ingredients and then all of a sudden it says spices. Well, that could be anything. Like what is it? Right. I just want to know what was in it. But have you had that stuff? Are they doing that at your Sheets? Do you know? Is that an everywhere thing?
It's been a long time since I've had a quesadilla at Sheets.
I'm gonna have to make a call to those brothers and be like, listen.
So I'm from Altoona. That's like I worked at the Sheets when I was like 18. I worked at the Sheets that was like attached to like the HQ.
Okay,
like, that's so like in Altoona. Like that's where the Sheets. Like I went to high school with like the Sheets family, like granddaughters or whatever.
Wow.
Like,
are they hot? Are they hot?
I mean, well, I can't. I don't know now.
Well, okay. Let me know if you find out. I don't know. You just think that they would be. They got quite a bit of money here now, I'm sure. So
there's plenty of money to go around.
I think Fraud Durst froze. He's. Oh no! Wait, no, he's
there. I'm here.
He was like, "Are you okay?" You were like,
"I'm good."
You want to talk pierogies some more? Is that? Are you
I would, yeah. I think. Well, they actually just had a. You could apply to be a pierogi at the Pittsburgh Pirates. So if you really wanted that job, if you're really into pierogies, but like everyone I sent this to, they said, you know how hot that costume is going to be and how smelly that costume is going to be.
It doesn't matter. You get through it.
I mean, but like they also said a part of the job. A part of the job is they have to time like your 100-meter sprint in that costume.
So, no. You shouldn't have to run in that thing.
That's the whole premise of the job. Yeah,
it's a bunch of crap. No, we're talking about pierogies instead of wieners, of course. And he said that you can apply to be a pierogi at the hockey game, like in a suit.
No, at the Pirate game.
Or at the Pirate game. Well, you think it'd be at the hockey game? If it's a hot suit, sweaters and everything, it should be at the hockey game.
They should have a skate.
That's why the costume's gross because it's like you're in 100-degree weather in a run it.
Hopefully, if they hire two people, they don't have to share the same costume because the dry cleaning bill would be pretty high. I'm sure.
It's like an occupational hazard, I think.
You would think like a biohazard.
Must have air conditioning.
Have you ever dressed up as anything, Rob, other than whatever you are right now? Wait, I don't even have your microphone on. There we go.
No,
like you've never worn a costume.
Kid is Halloween.
Well, I know. I mean, like as an adult. Not recently.
No.
I was last year before. I went to an open mic down here, and I was I dressed up as the Mountaineer, but not like the leather chaps or whatever the guy wears. It was a I got it at Walmart, so this will tell you. It was like a fur onesie, right? And the whole thing was it was just it was the hottest thing I've ever worn ever for any reason whatsoever. But it had a hat. I mean, I still have it. I can go put it on if you want.
I've actually got a picture.
In my onesie?
Yeah.
How about a Yeti suit? How about crowd surfing in a Yeti suit?
Oh yeah, if you look on YouTube, I think it's crowd surfing Yeti. But I bought this Yeti suit as like a guerrilla marketing type of thing to get people to come to our shows.
Well, that's
and
pretty extravagant, but yes.
so I went to.
That still exists. Do you still have that?
I think it's on. I think if you let me see if you search YouTube. If you
Oh, do you
search,
still have the Yeti suit?
oh, I still have the Yeti suit. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. I mean, I just hung it up in my closet because it like I had to like reposition stuff. Let's see, crowd surfing Yeti. Let's see if it still exists here.
Oh,
Yeah, if you search crowd surfing Yeti at on YouTube,
Definitely.
you'll see the first video. So there was a time when I would wear this Yeti costume because there's a actually the show in January. It's called the Abominable Snow Jam. That's like the yearly show that I try to put on, and host. And I bring bands, all these bands that I know. For one, Guides is playing this year, but back then the band that I was in and Jonathan, we were both in, and I still am, but it's called Identity X, and we were playing at Altar Bar. So a way to promote this was I would put on the Yeti suit, I would go to these shows and kind of like, hey, blah blah blah, I'm this Yeti. But like at this show in particular, people like said, you want to go up, you want to go up. Well, they couldn't hear me. I was saying no, but then they just lifted me up, and then I was airborne, crowd surfing to the front of the stage, and I was like, this would be the worst way to go, is get dropped on my head in a Yeti costume. So I got onto the stage and I couldn't see because I can't see out of the mask. So the singer, the band I think was called Hit the Lights. He was like telling me to like jump off the stage. Like, what are you doing on the stage? And then like I think he like pushed me or something, and I went back into the crowd, and then he like kicked me in the butt or something. I remember, but I was just like, please just don't fall because I can't see where I'm going, and I don't want to break any bones because I have to go to work the next day, and I can't show up with a broken arm. So that's the
Yeti costumes.
Okay. So you were like a Davy Crockett there.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be the Mountaineer, but that thing was hotter than hell.
Okay.
That was how long ago? That was a while ago. That wasn't
That's a very feminine Davy Crockett.
that deserves a. There you go, Ruff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So those costumes, they're very hot. I can't imagine. Yeah, I mean, even the Fred Durst costume. I mean, we went to this place in Flint, Michigan called the Machine Shop for Taproot's CD release show this a couple weeks ago, and I was walking around the Machine Shop with that puffy jacket on, and people were like, "Isn't it too hot in here for that?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm good.
Good.
I'm in character." I'm like,
it was cold in there, so that was probably
right. I think it was because they had the AC crank. So, but yeah, those costumes they get pretty hot. So I can't imagine running at 100 mile like full out sprint in a pierogi costume.
What's the point of running?
Because that's it's the pierogi race. They race each other around every game.
Oh, so you're not the whatever in between innings they do the pierogi race.
Yeah.
What's the pirate mascot called? What's he called?
The pirate parrot.
Well, no, doesn't he have a name or something? The mascot?
It's just the pirate parrot, I think. Yeah. But the pirate parrot's like he just kind of goes in the stands and fires off like
he doesn't partake in the pierogi race. I think he should have to do the pierogi race also, or at least run with them.
That costume, the pirate parrot costume is massive, so I can't imagine that. Whoever would have to run in that would have to have massive legs. You'd have to be all legs.
I had a band on quite a while ago. I'm going to have them on again soon. They're on their release tour right now. Gloomer. Have you ever heard of Gloomer?
Yeah.
Come up that way. They do kind of like shoegazy kind of stuff. Shoegaze.
Yeah.
I asked them they're the only other ones that I've asked from Pittsburgh. Do you guys say yins? Because that's a big thing up there. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yins.
Not like in a serious way. I don't say.
I think that was pretty much their response. I think, not unless they have to, or not unless it's
not proper grammar. So
I think if you go in Many Brothers, you have to say it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
required.
He's going down there and get some Yinglings. Going down south side.
Yeah, I usually say it as like if somebody from outside of Pittsburgh and I say Yin's coming down, just as a joke, because.
No, but I'd be like, what?
Yeah, it's just
What'd you call me?
Yins.
I mean, I'm not originally from here, so it was like baffling to me that the culture decided to celebrate like improper grammar in English. Like it was like embraced. But
Well, don't they have the Yinzer Festival? Isn't it like, is it a bunch of bands and Yinzers?
well,
Yeah.
everything's Yinzer Festival.
Yeah.
Steelers
Yeah.
games Yinzer
Every
Festival. A
day.
Penguins games Yinzer Festival. A concert. They're all
I think
Yinzer.
they have Yinzer Palooza. I think that's the Yinzer Festival. Yeah, it's called Yinzer Palooza.
There we go.
So-
Yinzer Palooza.
Yinzer
I gotta ask you. I
Palooza.
know we keep talking about Taproot. What did you guys think of Blue Sky Research? That album they did.
It's I mean, I think it's their best record. Like
That's
songwriting.
that's what I thought. Not a whole lot of people dig it. I mean, I've talked to. And
Really?
They do.
Really?
No, they like the earlier stuff with like Again and Again and that kind of poem. And I thought Blue Sky was an amazing album.
Yeah, like I mean, it's a little, it's not as dark sounding. It's not as like, they don't use the baritone guitars as much, but like the songwriting is so good and it's produced so well. Like that should have
Phenomenal.
been, and they feel this way too. Like it's well documented. Like that should have been their hit record that like took them to the next level. And
Oh yeah, it had many songs on there that could have been hits. I don't know why it never took off.
It's the economy was probably bad or something. I don't know. Or
From
COVID. Probably.
their perspective, it was the record label not giving it its proper due. But
That's the stuff. That's what I don't know. Is that really a thing? I guess it would be. Of record labels really being in depth into what you release when you get to that point. I've never understood that. I know it's just for the industry itself. It's to keep the industry what it is. But what's wrong with doing something different? Like it's like country music. I don't mind country music. I've had several artists on here that are country, but the mainstream country sounds exactly the same. Every song sounds exactly the same. There's no like genre. At least in rock, there is several different genres going on. But in country, it just seems like there's the mainstream country, and then there's my personal opinion, the really good like old style country that like Tyler Childers and things like that style. But it's just the mainstream country is just the same.
I went to a show.
And why would any record exec want to make something and put something out and represent somebody that's doing exactly the same as somebody else is doing currently? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Does it work?
Is that
does it
as
work
musicians?
itself?
It's a formula. They
Yeah,
have.
but
I mean, it's
you would think that there'd be a certain few in there or whatever that would just say, hey, let's try something different. But is it just they would
think
probably
about
be
so
flushed on the floor.
think about a rock example, and this is not to be critical because I love them, but think about Linkin Park later years. Like they just kept like every song, it was like a formula. It sounded the same, and it was that like Transformers soundtrack. Like that's what they were like aiming for they figured out a formula that sold and got them like placement and whatever, with whatever that sound was. And the real Linkin Park fans didn't really like, probably didn't care for that stuff as much. But I think when you think about it like objectively, like if you're doing that for your career, you kind of have to do what's best for the business, right?
Now would guides do that when you get to this point in your career as guides, will you take I don't want to say take the bait because it's not really bait, but will you take the advice of the record exec and say, yeah, we'll go ahead and do what you need us to do, or will you just break away and do your own thing for the band and not for the money or whatever or not for the popularity? I don't know. That'd be a tough decision for me. What do you do in that position?
you make the albums they want you to make and make the money, and in later years you make the albums you want to make.
But isn't that what a sellout would be?
No,
I've always said this. I've always said this in any project that I've been involved in. Like, if given the opportunity to live that lifestyle and make like music my like what I do every day as a profession, I would absolutely sell out if given the opportunity. Because once you get to that point, you can do whatever passion projects and creative outlets as you want. And like maybe that's not like Wes Borland's a perfect example. Like I think it's well documented. He's not like he doesn't love playing a Limp Bizkit, but like that's what makes his money, and then he can go do whatever side projects he wants. So like it's kind of like a more of a question about like what is that really like, do you want to do that like for your career, or like, and if that's what it takes, and I think what you hope for going into it is that what you're making is what sells and what takes off and what gets you there. But I think even looking at a band like Spirit Box, who is awesome, like their material is kind of like shifting, like they make really heavy stuff still, but like they know what like their singles need to sound like to like be at the level they're at. So
They're or like I guess the journey up to that point also would that's a payoff. You're all the hard work that you put in to get to that point. Why would you just not? Why wouldn't you just do it?
Remember talking to Rain and Z, and they would make a framework of a song, send it off, and then their record label would have their finished product.
And say, here, this is what you need to do.
This is what
instead.
it's going to be.
Yeah.
So probably
they good.
Yeah, I was gonna say an example of like like you said, bands that are able to like kind of bypass that. I mean, there's a band like Radiohead who has their whole entire career was F the labels and we're gonna do what we want. So I think that it all depends on how your fans will accept the direction of where you want to go, and then that's like kind of defines like if they're gonna pay the money to let you veer off and do something new and fresh, then sure, you could do that. But a lot of these mainstream artists, like the Spirit Boxes and whatever, they're on a trajectory that they're just trying to survive and make money and make a living, and that's all their option is. They're not getting tons of money from the label or whatever. The labels nowadays are all DIY. So it's like unless you're on like a Taylor Swift level or whatever, like you're not really making that much. I mean, so I think that, if you're going to invest like 50 grand into a tour and an album, you're going to say, what's going to make me money? It also goes in like, I'm an independent video producer. So like in terms of like creating content for people, you say, do you want me to be, more creative? And if they do, that's great. But most of the time it's like, we want a talking head. We want a testimonial. We like this style. We want you to do it. So you do the best that you can to like, please people and make them happy. But I think as an artist, and that's why like myself, like why I experiment in a lot of different avenues. So I do photography, I do video, I do music. There's something out there that someone that has that artistic eye is going to appreciate and like, but most of the times it's the stuff that is like mainstream that people appreciate, like the Fred Durst, parody stuff. That was meant to be joke.
You got to keep that going because if he's getting older and he's getting less interesting than he was before, you can revive it and live your life how he should have lived his life. You know what I mean? Like force him to look at you and force him to let you tag him and force him to I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'll say that if Fred Durst ever like does comment or do something, I'll say, well, I guess I officially made it. Like I got Steven Richards to call me, and now
I think you already did. If he already banned you from tagging him, you already made it.
That's right. So yeah, but going back to your point about like the artists and like selling out, it's like we've seen a lot of bands that we've liked over the years, like they've gotten real experimental and nobody buys their stuff. I mean, actually, Limp Bizkit is a good example. They tried to release that Unquestionable Truth album, and it wasn't like experimental, but it was like, we're going back to our roots, and people were just like, what's this? So I think once a band reaches a level of success, I think when the band reaches a level of success that defines their music, if they want to veer off the path and try something different, it's like some bands do a drastic turn and they're great, and some bands have a flop of a record. But like not all bands out there are like U2. See, like U2 was a band that could experiment, have a flop, and then come back, but they had like millions of dollars to throw around.
Their stuff was radio stuff. I mean, it was the popular style anyway.
Right.
So they were good.
They had crappy albums, but then they had really good albums. So I think that they're not. The funds are just not there. So I think every band that's out there nowadays has to in some way invest their own money into it. So they're like, do I want to
There's
own
no
a
album
house?
sales anymore. You don't get money from album sales
That's right.
at all.
So you have to figure out like, is veering off the path in the best interest of having longevity? Because as we know, in any entertainment industry, you're here today, gone tomorrow.
Oh yeah, forgotten about. Yep.
Like MC Hammer, you know, he was at the top of his.
Oh, he's the man.
He was at the top of his game. But I always go back to the MC Hammer thing. It's like you could be number one, but if you start buying all this stuff like gold-plated flooring and 70,000 dancers on stage, you're not going to be able to sustain that unless you keep pumping out those radio hits. So
MC Hammer now he did get very, very like worldwide popular because I had a band from Slovakia, and they talked about MC Hammer like he was the man. So Slovakia, they know MC Hammer.
They just got his album a couple weeks ago.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
yes.
I think that's the cover. If you guys said
Very
you're
nice.
looking for a cover, that's the cover you guys got to do. Is You Can't Touch This or Too Legit to Quit, but like in a
I don't
rock
know
way.
if we can. Well, I could vocalize that. Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, like
I think when you talk the last thing I was about the selling out thing is like it's also important like what point you decide to do that, right? Like
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want to do that yet.
Like, well, an example like Spirit Box, they did what they wanted until they got to the point where like that was even an opportunity. Like, but then there's bands that like they just try to like copy that from the beginning and like be that. Like, I would never want to like just say, oh, we're making like right now we're making like gonna try to write like NHL playoff music. That's what we call it. Like that like this music, like the songs that get played during the NHL playoffs. Those are like, you know, it's like whatever is like getting played on, you know, rock radio. Like we're not trying to go for that, but like when you get put in the position where like that's where you are, that's a different decision to make. So I think it's like that's an important, you know, delineation. Like, are we like trying to do that? Are we starting a band to do that, or like do we make that decision like when that's like actually our opportunity?
and there's
I don't want to veer too far. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't want to run out of time before we play Spirit Box. Let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll keep going as we can for another 15 minutes. I know you had something to add also to that, but let's listen to Spirit Box. Does this have anything to do with the band Spirit Box? The song, isn't there a band called Spirit Box?
The funny thing is the song was written before
the
band Spirit Box. So no, it's actually a reference to the show Ghost Adventures.
I used to watch Zach Bagans.
Yeah, so you know they use the Spirit Box as a device to talk to the
okay, I see.
So
I did have some ghost hunters at the beginning of October. We did kind of an early Halloween show, and there's a guy that lives in Morgantown that Danny Strakel that does Spirit Walk Paranormal, and he's investigated. He brought a freaking spirit box to my house. I was like, don't conjure that shit up in here. My house is fine. I don't need that here. But he didn't. But it's very interesting the things that he's caught or, you know, on that stuff. I've never experienced anything like it. But have you, Rob?
Yeah.
Have you?
Well, I went to the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic
Oh, well,
Asylum.
I mean, like outside of...
No.
Just voices, just the voices.
Played with a Ouija board once.
Have you guys experienced anything? Was that a motivation to write the song, or was that just?
So no, I mean I've experienced things. I've lived in houses that were haunted, and I've had very terrifying experiences. But that really had nothing to do with the inspiration for the song. It was like I said, the name of it was a reference to Ghost Adventures, but actually like. A lot of the lyrics were inspired by the movie Oblivion, which is a Tom Cruise sci-fi flick. So, it's just kind of a lot of like references to things that I was into at the time of writing the song.
Yeah, I like it. It's probably my favorite one off the EP. Cool. The EP is out now, and you can get it anywhere, right? Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere you can stream. We have physical copies if you're into that kind of stuff, but yeah.
I was going to ask you if you had
hard to find. Yeah, we have CDs that
awesome.
sell online and at our shows, so definitely track us down if you want a physical copy.
For sure. Rob, guides.
Cool.
Spirit Box.
Let's do it.
There we go.
nothing left inside your heart? Or did you move on while I'm lost in your spirit box? Can you look me in the eyes this time when you say goodbye? Does it hurt too much to lie? What about I'll finish what I started and move on. Oh, it's almost over. It's never over. Oh, when everything reverses. Hold on, it's almost over. It's not until it's I'll finish what I started and move on.
I like it. I like it a lot. That one's on my my shower playlist. I transferred things from my mowing playlist to my shower playlist in the winter since I'm not mowing anymore now. But that's the mowing one's the good one. But so it's a good one. That's I train.
Well, now every time I we play the song, I'm thinking about you in the shower.
In the shower, exactly. Yep, it's exactly. There you go. Yes, you're welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, great.
It's not always in the shower though. It's not like called the shower play. It's called a refresher course because it's new stuff. I constantly circulate things on there.
Awesome.
So just think of it as like a refreshment, like like what you're drinking. Is that whiskey?
Scotch.
Is it pierogi flavored scotch?
Oh no. This is the good
Is it
stuff.
Yiddish scotch?
This is the good stuff. It's
What?
single barrel, the Balvenie.
Ooh. There you go, Rob. That's your. You like scotch, don't you? Scotch. From Anchorman, isn't that what he says? Scotch.
Yeah, no, Canadian Crown Royal.
Oh, that's not even real scotch. That's just.
That's not Scotch.
It's overrated
That's
Scotch.
That's Canadian blended. Different.
Hey, coming up on I was supposed to have a show tomorrow night, but the bastards never got back to me. I've had them on the show before. I'm really good friends with them, but the bastards didn't get back to me, and I think it's because they do this Twitch live stream on Wednesday nights where they just play games and just people watch them play games, and they just I actually watched it. I watched it a couple weeks ago because nobody ever answers their messenger, nobody answers their email. So I was like, well, I know they're on Twitch because they're announcing the crap out of that. So I got on Twitch and I said, hey, come back on the show because it's been forever. But Curses was supposed to be on last night. They're from Southern West Virginia, or not last night, tomorrow night. I'm sorry, I'm way confused. Yeah, they were supposed to be on tomorrow night, but I don't know whether they're twitching or what they're doing, but they're not playing shows yet because their next two shows are not till December because they posted that today. So you bastards, if you're not watching, I'm going to make a clip right now. Well, not right now, but later on of this part and send it to you. Because anyway, they haven't been on since the Facebook days when I started the show on Facebook. I don't know what was wrong with the whole trying to tag you guys on the event. Facebook is dumb. Like they own Instagram. It's the same company, but they just can't handle tagging on Facebook. They just can't handle it. I don't know what it is.
If you're not a certain type of account, like if you're trying to tag someone personally who's a business or a band, it's
dumbest thing. Zuckerberg needs to zuck it up and do it the right way.
We prefer to do our business on Instagram, but I've found that a lot of our audience is on Facebook and prefers to use it.
Well, I mean,
gotta do
the
both.
Too Many Lives started on Facebook. I can't just go away, you know? Like, I have to keep the page updated. That's the only time. And then I get stuck on the meme pages. That's what happened last night. That's why I sent you like 30 of them this morning.
Yeah.
All about hot dogs, surprisingly. But no, I was gonna have that show tomorrow, but since they didn't get back to me, I'm not gonna just do a. They don't get special treatment. I just can't do it like that. So, they are canceled.
We'll do a deviant philosopher show. How about that?
Well, I don't have to do a show tomorrow. I'd like that'd be fine. We can do that. All right,
That works.
all right. Well, maybe.
No, it's gonna happen.
Okay, you can be the host.
Okay.
I'll co-host your show.
Okay. That works.
I don't know. I don't like this idea. You don't even know how to work any of the buttons or
It
anything.
is your idea.
But Thanksgiving week, which I guess is next week, isn't it? Already?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Wait.
Tuesday, I had last Thanksgiving, I had my Thanksgiving show was called the Thanksgiving Revelry, and I didn't want to have to try to tongue twist that name again, so I changed it to Soiree. So this year it's this Thanksgiving Soiree. And Maintenance from Yonkers, New York will be on again. They were on the show last year when I first met them. And when they turned their camera on before we went live, there was a huge dildo in the middle of the table. So I don't know what they're going to do this year, but they're really cool. I've kept up with them, you know, all this past year and became pretty good friends with them. I haven't even met them in person, but you know how that goes. You just click with people and but they're going to come back on the show for the Thanksgiving show. And I added Chris and Cal from Within a Revelry from Orlando. They're going to jump on the show also. So that's next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And I don't know what we're going to talk. I mean, we're going to talk about music and stuff, of course. But, you know, I don't know about the dildo. I don't know what's going to be going on. But just shenanigans. It'll just be the Thanksgiving special. So it'll be a soiree and a half. You know. And then after Thanksgiving, the Saturday just after Thanksgiving, there's a local venue. You guys should come down and play called Music on Main. It's in Bridgeport. And Jackie, the owner of his band, Heliosphere, will be on the show. I will be live from down there at Music on Main, and we'll do the show from there. And maybe have them play on the show. I don't know. I want to, we can get it wired up. He's got, I mean, the guy went to Full Sail, so you would think that he would know how to wire everything into the live stream. You would think. I don't know. If not, he needs to go back. I don't know. But yeah, so we'll do that on Saturday at 3:30 because it's also his birthday that day, and there's going to be like a it won't be open. His place won't be open, but it's going to be like a closed jam. So just a bunch of his friends be jamming and stuff. So I'll have some footage of that. I'm sure in the next few days after that, just some clips and things from that. And then one more thing that I just added a couple nights ago. Tom in London is going to join me for the Christmas show again this year. It doesn't have any special name. It's just called Christmas Special. But Tom wears he collects hats, like weird hats. Like I don't know if he's got any like dick hats or anything, but the ones last year were like he had one that was a turkey and just strange hats. There's a clip I just put up on the YouTube page and on Instagram of his hats from last year. But he's got more hats to feature this year. We'll be talking hats and other things on the 20th of December. So it's we got a while.
Oh, you're going clear.
At 7 p.m. No, I'm not. That's just when the show is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you haven't put your lights up yet, have you? At your apartment?
I don't.
I didn't think so. I did talk to the neighbor that lives up the road today at the mailbox, and I said, Gary, you didn't put your Christmas lights up. Oh yeah, I got them up. I said, well, don't turn those bastards on yet because it's not time. You guys don't have any of your Christmas crap up yet, do you? It's way too early.
We have our lights up, but they're not on yet.
Oh, that's good. Because if
Just
you turn those on, they're going to be on for a good 2-3 months. So you don't want
If you
to.
turn them on every day.
Not until Thanksgiving's over. That's the rule.
Oh, the day after. I mean, let Thanksgiving be Thanksgiving.
Like
Be
I would
thankful for-
rather, like my preference would be December 1st.
There you go. I agree with that. Do you are you going shopping the day after Thanksgiving? With the rest of the heathens?
I mean, do you really have to anymore? Like all of the sales are already happening. Like everything, all the good stuff.
Online.
I've already pretty much done all of my shopping.
You can do everything online,
It's
or do what
Black
you do. Just get gift
November
cards.
now.
Yeah, it's
Black
black.
November.
Everything. It's black all the time. In Fred Durst's mind, everything's black, right?
We've
Yeah.
all got a big screen TV. It's time for them to discount some groceries and shit. I said, we've all got a big screen TV. Let's discount some groceries for.
Or some utility bills.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Gas. You'd think the Sheets brothers would be on top of the gasoline helping, like help us out with some gas prices,
That's how they
don't think
make
it
their
works.
money, though.
I don't think it works like that.
That's how they
What's
make
the-
their money.
Are you guys done with the live shows for the rest of this year, or you have anything lined up I can come up to before January?
I can't. I mean, unless something would just magically appear, it seems that way. So yeah, January 5th is the next planned show, and it's well, Darren, I'll let you explain what it is. It's a little different than your typical show that we would play. So go ahead and sell.
So the show on January 5th, it's a club cafe, and it is a mixture of like live bands, but the core of it is going to be my comedy sketch routine in the middle, and then Guides will be the one that closes out. So there's a guy that I play with, his name is Josh Jams, and he does these loops and entertains almost
He's
like a
real
live.
big.
I mean that's his stage name. He goes by Josh Jams, but I met him years ago. He was doing this thing called Spare Change TV, but now he's kind of doing his own thing, and he also enjoys like that comedy mixed with music type of thing. So his whole thing is he'll be doing his thing and then like call me up on stage, and then so a lot of these greatest hits characters from my TV show will be integrated, and then Guides will close off the night, so it's going to be more of a fun night than just like going to see bands. You're going to see
that sounds
a
like
mix of.
If you want to go with me, I'll you can ride up with me. I'll definitely come to that. That sounds like a lot of fun. Something different.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
it's the show.
Are tickets available yet for anybody to get, or you'll?
I
guess you'll.
Not yet. I'm probably in the next week or so. That's when they'll probably officially announce it. But we'll post a link on our page, and
Yeah, do that. I'll
tickets will
put
be
one up
officially released.
on the description of this show. That way, it's people that look it up. They'll see.
Oh,
it.
great! Thank you.
Also, I will grab a couple tickets, even if Rob doesn't end up going, because sometimes you're doing something else.
Sometimes.
That's great.
Can we cover? Can we just work on Jingle Bells for the Christmas season?
No.
Damn it!
You're more than welcome.
See, we fight on everything.
I think you should do the Mariah Carey's, but like in a more metal
I don't want.
version.
I hate that song. I just hate. I think everybody's with me. That song.
It's like the most popular Christmas song.
It is,
ever.
but it shouldn't be. She's not Jesus. Is she?
Or is she?
You know what's my guilty pleasure is Sia Christmas. Actually, it's not really a guilty pleasure, but like the Sia Christmas record, that's like every year.
Mine is Twisted Sisters
I know.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you said if Fred Durst was going to do his version of the Mariah Carey song, it'd be "All I Want
That
for
would be
Christmas."
awesome.
All I want for Christmas is new instead of you. So and you.
Oh, that's good. Okay, you've got to record some kind of a bit. Like if I start the pierogi segment instead of the wiener segment, you've got to do like a Pittsburgh accented Fred Durst pierogi intro or something. We'll figure something out. That'd be awesome. Because I have to play it.
The pierogi race.
I have to play it for you guys since we didn't do the whole segment. But this is my dad singing, and my mom's in this also. This is usually the start of the wiener segment.
I know a weenie man. He owns a weenie stand. He sells most anything from hot dogs on down. Someday I'll join his life and be his
His weenie wife.
hot dog. I love that weenie man.
Have you not heard that, Rob?
No, but that is brilliant.
Is that a true
Next
story?
one.
He didn't write it.
That is next level.
He learned that in 4-H growing up, and he sang it to me and my sister when we were growing up. It was a weird song.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is that a true story? Is that based
It's
on
supposed to be. He actually told me the other day it's supposed to be sung by a female, the way the lyrics go. But
It works.
it's already on. It's already
It
on the
works,
soundboard.
yeah.
I can't change
Yeah,
it.
no, that
We would have to
works.
go in and
That is-
re-record, and they were in Hawaii. They were in
That's
Hawaii
what makes
in
it good. Like That's what we were talking
Yeah.
about, like with Faith. It's like you
They were in
can't-
Hawaii in February, and I had them. I didn't have any guests that week, so I had them on the show from Hawaii, and I just interviewed my parents. It was great.
They are the coolest people in the world.
It's on YouTube there. You can see it. But my sister was in the chat, and she said, if you're doing the Wiener segment, you should have Dad sing the Weenie Man song. And I was like, that's brilliant. And I just went and recorded it, and now it's the main thing on the show. I think it's bigger
Have
than
you
me.
done it live? Has he ever come on the show and like done it?
Well, yeah, just when they were on the show from Hawaii. Yeah, that's the only time. But so that's kind of what we're up against, Darren. That's what you'll have to kind of top that with pierogies.
Okay. I'll have to think of
I think
something.
I think we could adopt the pierogi segment.
So it's a
little bit.
pierogi, a Fred Durst,
Fred Durst pierogi segment or
Yeah.
something like that.
a
Think of
pierogi
something
song in the style of Fred Durst.
Yeah, and you'll be on every single episode from now until it changes to corn dogs or something.
There you go.
Write it down.
We'll do that. Work on that, and between now and January 5th, don't take away your practice time or anything. But in the middle, between practice time and whatever else you got going on, make me a pierogi jingle.
All right. I'll work on
All right. That's how you get stuff done right there. You just ask people and they say, okay. That's not how it always works, but
Puts it on his list.
I have a website being built. I don't know when it'll be done. Probably after the first year. We'll probably premiere it at the first year, but I'll have the builder. I can't remember where he lives now, but it's nowhere around here. But he's from Zimbabwe. He was born and raised in Zimbabwe. He's not Zimbabwean or whatever you call those people, but he's really cool, and he's building me an Keep Me Alive website. And guess what? It'll be keepmealive.com. Very simple, easy to remember. You know what I mean? So it's been almost 4 years of the show, and I'm just now getting a website. But hey,
I built websites for a living for a while, and it took me 2 or 3 years to have my own website. So it's just how it goes.
I should have had you do it then.
I'm out of the business.
Oh, damn it. Well, damn it.
So you're better off.
Oh, well. Well, I got it from a certain site. I don't want to say the site because, just don't want to. But, they have a list of people that you can get if you need help with your site. And I definitely need help because I have a terrible attention span and I just don't want to do it. I got a podcast to run and other things to do.
It's
like,
not
think of cover.
even those consumer sites, like the Wixes or whatever. They make it seem like it's easy to build your own site. And
It's very hard. Mine comes out looking like a first grader drew a picture of something. I don't know. It just doesn't look at all like it's supposed to, or how I want it to look. I don't know. But I wanted somebody to do it professionally, and make it look good. So people visit it and it looks good. Spend money to make money, right? Or something. Guys, it's very nice to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on, and I look forward to January the 5th. And regardless of if it's whatever kind of show it is, I want to see the Fred Durst stuff too. So that just makes it even more awesome because you'll be doing both. I mean, what could be better than that?
Yeah.
That's right.
You're getting the full experience, the full guides Fred Durst experience.
The rounded. Are there? This is kind of the tough burning question that some people might have. Is there new music coming anytime soon? I know you just did the EP. The EP just came out, but I mean, is there anything in the works?
Yes. So as I alluded to, during the pandemic, we were very productive in writing. So over half of our set is new material at this point. So there's still some loose ends to tie up with the writing, but the next step is to hire a producer, and we want to get into the studio and track that shit early next year. So the goal is to be releasing new music in the back half of next year, and I don't want to dates or whatever, but the goal is to get the next EP out within the next year. So it's pretty much written, and it's just a matter of getting through the production process at this point.
Well, it's very good. Keep it up. I love the music. I think it's awesome. It's right down my alley. The things that I listen to all in one, all in one package called Guides, and it's badass. I love it. I look forward. Once again, I look forward to come up January 5th at Club Cafe. I've only been there one time, but it's kind of small, but it's a cool small place. Like it's not.
Yeah. Like it like people give it kind of has a reputation for a singer-songwriter spot, but like we've done a number of rock shows there, and like it really works, and like it's a good time. It's a perfect.
Acoustics are very good in there, and the sound is always really good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look forward to that. Rob, thanks for co-hosting at the last minute.
No, absolutely.
It's been real. I guess we might be doing a show tomorrow. We'll talk about it. We'll see how you behave.
Yep.
Or something.
It was nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, that's
Nice meeting you too.
Thanks for having us. Had a great time.
For sure. This weekend I'll be headed to Youngstown again. Last time I was there, I saw The Undertaking.
Yep.
They have an exclamation point at the end of their name. That's why I say it like that. But I guess I'm the only one that does that. But they didn't tell me to stop, so that's how I refer to them. But they're from San Diego. I met them in person at Westside Bowl this past. It was actually this year. It was the early spring or something like that. I went and saw them. But anyway, I'm going back up there to Westside Bowl on Saturday to see you next Tuesday. It'll be the second time within like 2 months I've seen them. Nights Like These from Memphis, and from a Second Story Window will be headlining. It'll be their first show back in 15 years. So it'll be a great show. Can't wait for that. And Neighbor Dan will be opening. I don't know much about this band, but they're very good. That's who's going to play us out of the show tonight with a song called Detroit Night City. Detroit Night City. I don't know if you have to say it like that, but that's how I say it. So anyway. But that's where I'll be on Saturday, and I'll have footage and stuff, as always, that I'll post at some point after I get back and edit everything. So
Awesome.
anyway. Once again, nice meeting you guys. I will see you soon in less than 2 months.
Yeah,
Maybe.
can't wait. Thanks for everything.
For sure. We'll talk to you later. And here is Neighbor Dan with Detroit Night City, and we might see you tomorrow night. Maybe me and Rob. I don't know. We'll see. We'll let you know on the pages and stuff. It'll be posted and all the crap. So we'll see you. Have a great evening.